riding like Moby Dick, pulling my weight for the kids. Show me your fish, better show me your fish, show me your fish.
This is Sport Fishing Championship.
Welcome everyone watching live on YouTube to St. Augustine, Florida. It's the third stop of the Sport Fishing Championship. Comanche Cove Yacht Harbor plays host to this event, the third and final day. We call it Championship Saturday, SFC Saturday. Robbie Floyd, Peter Miller here calling the action for this just shy of an hour. I believe, Peter, it's the final day. Somebody's going to win this tournament.
That's right. We've got 15 boats giving it all they've got, Robbie. They're out there with everything and the kitchen sink. They're deploying them all. Lures, baits, dredges, teasers, you name it. There's a 100-mile ring you see and a 200-mile ring. Most of the boats are within that 100-mile ring, either on top of the ledge or just sloping down that ledge, and they're looking for the 350-point blue marlin.
In generalizations, if we look out there with our Garmin tracker, offshore assets, here's some of our featured boats. Polarizer with the first blue marlin catch of the tournament on day number 1. But let's look at our catches so far up to day number 3. And we're catching them each day, although a single fish by $1 yesterday. We've already seen a blue marlin release this morning at 9:26 a.m.
That's right, by CFan. I hadn't seen them before, but yesterday I see them. Now CFan has a blue marlin, and that's good news. We love those blues for that 350 points on the final day.
You see, even on day number 1, we saw several yellowfin tuna caught, several mahi-mahi caught. Also had a wahoo caught yesterday. It was a small one, but we've seen 3 of our 4 championship fish caught this week so far. Team $1. Yeah, you might have heard that name last year. They're back-to-back champions, trying to make it 4 in a row. And on day 1, they had a blue marlin.
That's right, Robbie. They're doing everything they're supposed to be doing. That's all they know how to do is catch blue marlin out here, because they're consistent, they're accurate, they're precise, and they are working their way back to that fish. Again, we don't want to ever change anything. When you're backing down on a fish with a lot of money on the line and a lot of prizes waiting for you back at the dock, just stay consistent, back it up, take up that slack, unless, of course, the fish goes wild. But you see here, they got him on the leader right next to the boat, and they want to get that lure back, revive him quickly, and let him go.
They did it very well, reviving that fish. It will be released. Maybe they'll catch it the next day. Maybe that was the one that they did catch the next day. Again, 2 fish on the board for $1, both being caught by Dominic Shaw. Big pat on the back. I mean, that's some weight off your shoulders getting that first qualified fish.
That's right, and he's got the the same situation. He's back in the chair again on day 2 with that blue marlin. You're allowed to fish 2 of the 3 days. 1 day's a lay day, so they picked day 1 and day 2. Today we're on day 3. They've got the GoPro going. The fish is at the transom. Mate's got the leader. That is an official catch for team $1.
All right. Woo! Buddy, my man. Woo! My man.
They're hoping that jump in the water is much like they did last year that took them to victory for the 3rd time. He's Peter Miller. I'm Robbie Floyd. Peter, we love our Salt Life. I was telling Jeff Stillwell that just a moment ago. I love wearing the Salt Life, but I think I'm going to have to put on a piece of equipment that I wasn't planning on using.
Yeah, we've got some inclement weather coming, and I believe we're going to have to don our rain jackets and some extra gear to stay dry on this one. Happened to us in Puerto Rico, where we were getting it up from the back side, and our backs were completely soaked and our fronts were dry. We were like Scotch guarded in the front, wet in the back. It was an interesting dynamic. It felt odd, but we got it done. The guys are getting it done today. There were marlin on the board, and that's what we're looking for here at the tournament in St. Augustine.
I got my rain jacket here. You got it there. It's crazy because it looks okay here, but behind the camera, not so much. But what these guys are dealing with on that 3rd day, everybody has the same format. They had 3 days of fishing. They can only fish 2 of those 3 days, but most of the field is out here today. I mean, we had 15 to start. There's 13 fishing today, and they have to deal with this weather.
Yeah, it's you got to pick that day, and hopefully you pick it right. It's a gamble, but you got to make that choice.
35 contender offshore asset, Jeff Cole. We had Cam on board this week. This is looking back at yesterday. But again, for everything that you catch out there, if it qualifies, you still have to get it by. You have to be checking in by that St. Augustine buoy at 6 o'clock, and things could get rougher as the time ticks off. They still have about, 2 more hours of fishing.
You know, it's all about planning, Robbie. You can leave the dock at 5, you can get the baits in the water at 8, and then you have to make sure that you let enough time in there to get back to the dock. I've had moments where we're crushing the fish, but we're still 2 hours from shore, and the captain says, guys, bring them in. I said, but there's sailfish all around our baits. He said, guys, you got to bring them in, otherwise the ones we caught won't count at all. So you got to pull them in, you cry a little bit, you wipe your tears, and you race in, and you get back in time for the polygraph test, which I've taken a few of, Robbie. Remember when Red Bull came out? Somehow we had a case of Red Bull on the boat, and I thought they were sodas. And I drank about 8 Red Bulls on the way in.
Delicious.
And they put me on the polygraph, and the guy says, your heart's beating out of your chest. I said, yeah, I drank this drink. Hooked a polygraph detector.
You were fine.
This is nuts.
I've had thousands of them. You're fine. All right, we're looking at offshore assets here. Not just a billfish tournament, but also championship are to be had as well that they still have to check in for. And as far as these are concerned, our championship, the largest one throughout the season, whether it's a Gulf or Atlantic Mahi, could be the one that could win you $50,000, and that's with a $250 buy-in. That is a very good amount for what you'd get back.
It sure is, Robbie. It's great to be able to participate in all avenues of these events. You know, from marlin all the way to mahi. You know, the biggest fish you're going to catch is going to be the big blue marlin. The next biggest is going to be your big eye tuna, which is a championship fish. Then you're going to have your yellowfin tuna, work your way to wahoo, and 2 mahi. You know, mahis, you know, average big ones, nice ones, 50, 60 pounds would be really nice.
That'd be big.
Wahoos, you know, they catch them 180, 200. But the yellowfins we saw at 206, and we've also seen those big eyes close to 300 pounds. So, you know, it's never over until it's over.
Yeah, big fights. And even the mahi, like you mentioned last year, it didn't take a really big mahi to win that $50,000. 40-pounder Angelo Di Paloa at the Gulf Coast Masters. There's 40s right behind us here, guaranteed. I mean, and much bigger than that.
Right, you know, these guys are doing all kinds of fishing. They got beautiful setups there with the fast gear ratio there, and they had that lure sitting there with that J hook in, and they're probably pulling lures and doing their troll.
We went out to the ledge today, about 54 miles, and had a few bites, but didn't capitalize on them. Started the morning blue marlin fishing, but nothing happened for us, so switched over to some mahis and got one, but yeah, that's it. We're gonna try to get after it tomorrow, run a little south, I think. You want a belt instead?
No, I'm good.
All right.
Thank you.
Yep. Wait, I'm gonna turn a little bit. Yep. Real. Keep the tip up too. You can go a little faster probably. Yeah, I got you.
Baby, keep it tight.
Real slow day, a lot of scatter weed, real windy, nasty conditions, but got a few bites, got a mahi in the boat, had a little mishap getting him in the boat, but he's here. Wasn't the biggest one, but made it happen for what it was at least.
Wasn't the biggest, but it was the tastiest. These are something that you can bring in, will bring in, and they will be put to good use.
And you can see them keeping it very positive. If you don't have a positive attitude while you're out there, it's going to affect everybody on the boat, and it's just a bad vibe. And when you're far offshore and you start off in that zone, it's not good. But that's a beautiful mahi.
Awesome.
That is dinner for the entire boat, and you can cook it every which way and any which way you want. A little Bubba Gump shrimp. You know, and here you have porpoise. You know, when you find those porpoise, a lot of times you'll find tuna, which then you'll find marlin. But you heard him say that they had a couple of bites that they couldn't make, they couldn't convert.
Yeah.
And you know, that's a thing that really happens. I mean, that's what it's all about. You catch 100% of what you get, you're going to win. I always say that.
See, $50 with 2 blue marlin, $3.50 a piece. Polarizer, they only have 1 blue, but they got that extra 100 points for catching the first blue marlin of the tournament. Seafan now with their catch here on this 3rd and final day. They and Polarizer are still out there fishing right now. It could jump up there, especially Polarizer. 1 more blue marlin, they jump ahead of $50, and it came down to the last minute last year.
That's right, and they're going for the win with 1 blue marlin for Polarizer, and Seafan, if they catch one, they will jump into 2nd place. Along with $50, they'll have the same amount of points.
The big flurry we had last year, you could see a team that's not even on that leaderboard jump up in a hurry. That's what happened with $50 last year. 3 fish, 3 hours. Can it happen again? This has been the most magnificent, I mean, beautiful city that I had never been to in my lifetime. St. Augustine, it's old. 1565, I believe, when they landed here. Some of these cobblestone streets look like they've been around since then. They were dirt roads back then, but it is really nice.
It's a historical gem. Everywhere you go here, there's something more interesting on the next corner.
SFC
and there's more
coverage of the Salt Life Bluewater Tournament is sponsored by
I've ever seen
Frito-Lay, Michelob Ultra, Denison Yachting, and by Salt Life.
Comes to performance, comfort, and functionality, got you covered. Performance apparel designed by anglers to make your time on the water better than ever. Salt Life, the official apparel sponsor of the Sport Fishing Championship.
Whether you like to ride the wind, find your secret cove, or reel them in. Plot your paradise with GPS Map Series from Garmin.
This spring, settle in and reconnect with one another. South Padre Island has so many great places to stay. Condos, resorts, and hotels. Oh my! Book your spring getaway today. And start making memories poolside with the people you care about most. Visit SoPadre.com.
When you're serious, you are as excited to wake up for a 4 a.m. fishing trip as you were when you were a kid. It means winning 3 World Sailfish Championships. It means you know what you need and what you don't. Being serious means seeking out the ultimate fishing machine, which is what Peter Miller has found in the unmatched handling, speed, and comfort of an Invincible.
Pine tar, bay rum, all natural, all natural.
It's time for your old soap to take a
hike with Dr. Squatch, the best natural men's soap, deodorant, shampoo, and so much more.
Dr. Squatch is for players like Justin Herbert, who are here to shake things up, who break records and hearts, who are tough on the outside and soft on the skin side, who only use natural performance enhancement and want their end zone to be fresh.
Go to drsquatch.com today. Feel like a man, smell like a champion.
Are you ready for the ultimate luxury fishing experience? Join the Sport Fishing Championship talent on the SFC Experience, where you'll explore incredible fisheries and enjoy world-class hospitality from diverse cultures and SFC partner locations. With the SFC Experience, you'll create unforgettable memories with friends, families, or colleagues. Book your trip today and embark on the adventure of a lifetime with the SFC Experience.
SFC coverage of the Salt Life Bluewater Tournament is sponsored by BioLite, Publix, Durabright, and by Hopwater.
Katie here with the Sport Fishing Championship. When planning an offshore fishing trip for a highly migratory species such as blue marlin, captains and teams will often cross-reference several different styles of satellite imagery charts to help determine where to drop their baits. Information like water temperature, currents, altimetry, chlorophyll, and seafloor mapping can all help indicate where the potential billfish bite could be. Off the coast of St. Augustine, there isn't a lot of offshore structure to help attract bait. But at about 50 miles out, there is a gradual ledge, which breaks into deeper water, often right about where the Gulf Stream is pushing warm water north. On this chart, we can see that both the west and the east side of the Gulf Stream has a pretty significant water temperature and current break. This could indicate a potential buildup of bait and therefore a billfish bite. Our teams this weekend are fishing the west side of the Gulf Stream and the east side of the Gulf Stream. Stay tuned to see where the billfish are passing through this weekend and which team will turn out on top.
Do you stay in a little tighter? Do you go to that outside? Katie told me also that Noah's site is free if people want to check it out. It doesn't cost anything to do so. Do you go to that up to or near that 100, or do you go past it and try and get on the other side, Peter? That's
Robbie,
a
it's
big
all
decision.
about looking at the radar. You know, the weather is a little inclement right now. It's a little sloppy out there. You got to kind of hedge your bets, and you got to try to make a decision early on as to where you're going to go. But then something is going to spark your interest. You're going to turn your bird radar on, your bird setting, and maybe you find a flock of birds, which is going to be tuna, which is going to be marlin. It could be everything. So it might change your dynamic.
They were making those decisions before they took off. 5:30 this morning, the boats departed. They couldn't get their lines in the water till a little bit later. They have to have their lines out of the water at 4 o'clock. I think that 8 a.m. might be Central Time. But either way, they're here early, rigging baits, getting prepped to go out for their final day of fishing. And it's all, literally is all on the line today.
Yeah, and you saw that guy with that leader, that heavy leader with a big circle hook. And they're going to get ready to rig whatever kind of baits they need, possibly a pitch bait like a mackerel or a big horse ballyhoo, which is a large ballyhoo. And they're going to be ready for just about anything that comes into the spread.
Northeast Florida, you hear NEFMA, we talk about the Northeast Florida Marlin Association. They're not limited to any distance. I see out there around 300, you see that shadowed spot. Nobody's going to be making that run. If this were a Gulf event, you stay out all 3 days, you might make that 2 to 3, have some fuel bladders and make those runs, because that might be where they feel the fish are going to be, not here.
Rob, you're right. There's a lot of preparation for all of these tournaments, but when you go to the Gulf and you're staying out for 3 days, it's extra preparation, because you've got to bring all the food, everything you could possibly need for a 3-day event. You're running very far, like you said, fuel bladders. Nice thing about this tournament, you can go out, catch your fish, come back in, go again the second day and do it, or take a lay day and go on the final day, which is today, day 3.
One of our featured teams, Sea Fan, Harry Graves, out there looking for those fish. Again, these are generalizations, but that topography, that is true. You're looking for some differences in that floor, how the wind, how the currents react with that. So when Sea Fan goes out on day 2, you know they're a day 2, day 3 team. They're out there fishing right now, and we know they caught a blue marlin this morning.
And so what we can infer from what we're seeing here is that they were trolling. They've got lures out, and the fish hit that lure that was right there in the gunnel, in the transom there. Now they're going to transfer this rod to the chair. So this angler is kind of doing it all. You know, he kind of pushed the strike, the drag up to more strike to get that hook set in there, and then he's getting in the chair. He's going to strap in and battle this fish.
We don't have the identifier of who they are that caught this one, but we know Sea Fan did have their blue caught by H.B. Graves. As well as a mahi caught today by Moulton Smith. There's some directions right now. What's he pointing out?
Well, I'm sure there's still some lines out. There's probably some teasers hanging. You want to clear everything so you can back down real fast. And turns out that he looks like he's got a gaff there. I'm not sure if he's trying to clear something with that gaff, but maybe it's a championship fish as opposed to a marlin. Let's see. There you go. It's a tuna.
Got a tuna. That's a championship fish. I think that's going to win the $50,000, but that is going to come back and maybe they'll weigh it in and do something on the local side of things.
My game plan is to try to find a marlin. May fish this side the first day because it's bumpy, and the fish a little deeper the next day. We use Shimano reels and some tournament rods, 80-pound. Is all we pull. We're lure fishermen, really. In the Don Combs tradition, let's say it that way.
So we see that championship fish caught. See some smalls here. Those would be bait generally, but
that was a mahi who got very aggressive trying to eat a lure that looked like another mahi and wound up getting snagged in the stomach. So you can see that wouldn't happen with a circle hook because a circle hook would rarely
Just bumps
snag a
it.
fish. I mean, I snagged a puffer fish once. It's the strangest thing I've ever snagged with a circle hook. I had a ballyhoo with a circle hook, and it came back with a baby puffer on the tip of the hook, and that picture still, it haunts me. I just don't even know how that happened.
But again, we've identified it. We saw Harry there, and it could be HB, could be his son that caught the blue marlin today, but they're around, you know, these typically would be close to bait that we see in the Gulf of Mexico, but if you catch a big yellowfin or you catch a big mahi, it could be worth some money. And still on the local side of things that we're partnering with, each one of those, they can bring in 2 each day. That could still be worth some money.
You're right, Robbie. And we're taking a look here at the boats in this 100-mile radius, and we're taking a look at 4 reel having a good time on their boat.
Again, I believe this was yesterday. They caught a few tuna on day 1. Had a shark come up and hit their dredge as well. It's some of the young bucks of the Sport Fishing Championship.
A mako shark. When a mako shark comes up and busts your dredge, you have a lot of work to do, a lot of repairing to do. I mean, it's kind of cool to see, but you really don't want it to happen. What do we have here?
Sun's out, guns out. Can't be that chilly at 85 degrees.
It gets the people going. It's provocative.
Hey, we do a little crowd we're pulling up here on YouTube, and they're going to do some.
I need a blue marlin. All right, who's counting? Harrison?
Okay. Ice bucket challenge. We've seen this before.
You've had a brain freeze after a big Slurpee. This is a full-on forced brain freeze in a bucket of ice, and this will cool you off pretty quickly.
That was cool.
I know South Padre is our final stop in the Gulf, but I did something very similar at South Padre when I was in college.
Yeah, everyone's got to try it just once, at least once.
Buck, your leader. They are not fishing on this final day. They fished their first 2 days. They're sitting back. They're probably watching the show right now going, come on, just stay right there. No more catches, because Polarizer caught that first fish. They're up ahead with that 450. Seek Fan caught theirs today.
Yeah, you could tell half a buck's going to be watching the show, like you said, and they're going to be hoping that nobody catches another fish.
Castillo San Marcos, we see a couple big castles on the SFC tour. We know that lovely one right there at the entrance in San Juan, Puerto Rico. You can follow us in late August, and you can not only check out this one, check out that one. It's a touring adventure on the SFC, Peter.
That's the real deal, Robbie. When you see cannons mounted in these areas, I mean, you know this was a real functioning display of military defense.
We're bringing out the big guns of the SFC when we return.
SFC coverage of the Salt Life Blue Water Tournament is sponsored by Frito-Lay, Michelob Ultra, Denison Yachting, and by Salt Life.
In Puerto Rico, we call ourselves Boricua. We're proud, passionate, and full of life. On our island, adventure finds you. Strangers aren't strangers for long. The size of the audience doesn't change the beauty of the music, and we celebrate every last ray of sun. Live Boricua.
Salt Life, the official sunglass partner of the Sport Fishing Championship.
Well, we're waiting.
I'm alright. Don't nobody worry about me. You got to give me a fight. Why don't you just let me be? Come catch a day. Oh, I got you
Hey y'all, I'm Amanda Shaw. We all know Louisiana is as fun as all get out. So get out, take a road trip, and explore our state. Fill her up, then try a new restaurant that's as fun-loving as it is food-loving. Grab the family and take off for monumental adventures at our 21 state parks. Or take a magical minivan tour along our 19 scenic trails and byways. Louisiana's a trip. Take one today.
This is Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser. Plan your road trip at LouisianaStaycation.com.
Whether you like to ride the wind, find your secret cove, or reel them in. Plot your paradise with GPS Map Series from Garmin.
When you're serious, you are as excited to wake up for a 4 a.m. fishing trip as you were when you were a kid. It means winning 3 World Sailfish Championships. It means you know what you need and what you don't. Being serious means seeking out the ultimate fishing machine, which is what Peter Miller has found in the unmatched handling, speed, and comfort of an Invincible.
SFC coverage of the Salt Life Bluewater Tournament is sponsored by Garmin, Invincible Boats, Visit South Padre Island, and by SFC Experience.
I'm here at the St. Augustine Alligator Farm Zoological Park, and I'm here with my friend Kenan.
What's happening?
How's it going, Kenan?
Marvelous.
Tell me a little bit about this place. It's established in 1893.
That's right, 1893. It's an amazing facility here in St. Augustine, and it's a must-stop when you're in town. You can literally see crocodiles from all over the globe, every species. But beyond that, they have many different species of snakes, turtles. We've got sloths. We've got lemurs. It's truly an amazing zoo, and within the 7 acres, it's just an incredible experience. You almost feel like you're on safari.
Wow, so amazing. So what else can you do on the property? I understand there's a lot of things going on.
Well, you got really involved. I'm really psyched to see that you got up close and personal with some of the animals. Bomber, which you guys have kind of a shared interest in name. But one of the more fun things to do here at the zoo is to actually get above it all, get into the zip line. You can actually zip line over the alligators and crocodiles if you're brave. It's all very safe, but there's an amazing course that you can partake in here. So it's very interactive, and it's a different perspective to see the zoo from.
Well, thanks so much for having us.
My pleasure. I'm so glad
meeting you. We're going to hang out and maybe see a little bit more stuff here, maybe take the zip line.
Let's do it.
All righty. So this is Bomber. He's 13 feet, and he's the male dominant of this group of alligators. He came from Georgia originally, and I'm about to feed him. See you later, alligator.
If she didn't say that, I would be disappointed. Good to see my buddy Kenan there. You want to talk about professionals? He was a professional BMX guy. Have you been down to the alligator farm there in St.
Well,
Augustine?
I thought it was crocodiles. I guess there's alligators as well. But I tell you, Michelle just fed that croc. And the croc's name was Bomber.
Yeah.
And her name is
Bombshell.
Bombshell.
Yeah, it
so
worked.
Bomber get fed by Bombshell, and she's a chef. It all makes sense to me now.
Dropping bombs. But have you been? Have you seen it? You know, your kids
I have
probably
not been
had.
there,
Your
and I
kid-
have not been. And I worry about that moment where you get on the zip line and maybe you kind of come through and you drop
Come
off and you land
on.
right on top of one and you start riding.
Come
it.
on.
Man, ride it like a Ford. Just go.
I know we're getting close to the end of our YouTube portion here, and we'll get on CBS at the top of the hour. Things are starting to tick down. We haven't seen anything for a bit, but there's opportunities still out there, Peter, to catch the big one that can put you over the top and get you points for the Sport Fishing Championship.
That's right. So you got to, stay with us because we're going to go to CBS from 3 to 5 Eastern, and we're going to continue this broadcast live on CBS Sports. But these guys have everything possible known to man on this boat, and they're ready for everything. Dropping those dredges back, dropping those teasers back, putting the halyards out, and the captain's got all eyes. Everybody's watching. So, as you know, Robbie, the Blue Marlin's 350, White Marlin 125, Spearfish 125, probably won't see it, Sailfish 75, and then Swordfish 75 as well. They are in these waters.
Yeah. Were you
but
surprised
they're
no
not gonna be fishing
sailfish
the
yet?
swordfish right now.
We had one sailfish last year, and it's a little different. We heard teams talking about they were going to maybe even target sailfish today. Are you surprised we haven't seen one sailfish?
Yes, I am actually, because there was a boat that wanted to focus. That was realistic. He said, we're going to focus on sails, catch a handful of them, and take the tournament. Right there is the majestic Blue Marlin. Beautiful light, kind of swimming in that crystal clear water. They love that water. And the fish that they're hunting are tunas and mahis, and they see a lure go by, and they're going to bite it.
You go, oh, there's a ballyhoo. I think I'll take a bite. All right, you see our featured teams out there on the water. Power play, half a buck, sea fan, very close to each other. Everybody, until when you have that number one plate in racing, everybody's gunning for you. Half a buck is that team with the number one plate. They have gone back to back to back champions, trying to do it for the 4th time in a row. And day 2, yesterday was their final day out there on the water.
That's right, and they're using a reel. You see there, it's called a dual, which is forward cranking. You're getting high retrieve. It's more of a 2.4 to 1. And then when you wind it backwards, it's a 1-to-1 slow retrieve. That's for cranking when they're being ornery or deep down, they're diving. You got to go to 1-to-1.
Seeing a little wave action too there yesterday.
Yep, they're clipping things in. You got your stoppers at the top. You see that ball up there? They're clipping in, putting that long rigger up, and you have your halyard clips down below to keep that line in place so it doesn't slide back down to the boat. And, they're hoping for a Blue Marlin, as always. They've done it 3 years in a row. They're looking to do it for a 4th year. And right now, they are in the lead.
Saw Dominic Shaw already with the Blue Marlin on day number 1. This is day number 2.
And you see the same technique. Taking up that line, not trying to power it in, backing slowly at the fish. Everyone's staying dry, even though it's pretty rough out there. If they were going fast, the waves would be coming over if they wanted to charge hard at it. Sometimes, Robbie, you only get one shot at that leader. And if you do something, you change the trajectory of what you're doing, you may shake a hook out, the fish may come up, it may get wrapped up, land on the line, it might part the line, which means breaking the line. So they are just smooth and suavely just going back. Is suavely a word?
It is now.
I think suavely.
Suave.
Sounds weird.
Suavely. I don't think it's not suavely. I think it's suavely.
Suave. We'll call it suave.
Oh.
Rico Suave. That's what we're going to call. We're going to call this the Rico Suave move.
Either way, it's a qualified catch when you can reach down, grab that leader, make contact with it, or run that leader to the rod tip. Now, we have seen also, and I know we saw a gap fish earlier, one of the championship that we brought in, but we have also seen tagged fish here at this tournament as well. Find out where that fish goes later on in life.
Yeah, we always keep the tag stick handy. You got to reorder those tags. They don't just come with your boat when you purchase your boat. So you have to actively pursue the tagging stick, get your tags, keep the boxes filled, and then you fill out a card for every tag that you catch, that you tag the fish, of course. So you're going to say, okay, this fish right here was 125 pounds. We caught him off St. Augustine, about 100 miles offshore, and he was in great condition when we last saw him. He was caught on a lure. He measured about 87 inches, and then the next person that catches him sees that spaghetti tag, pulls it out, sends it in, and they'll send them the information and say, hey, this fish was caught 5 years ago, and you just recaptured it, and now it's 350 pounds, 400 pounds.
Yeah, when I was researching sport fishing originally, you would see some of those that would go transatlantic and go from one continent to another. I mean, these fish they're built for speed and distance they want. As long as they got water in front of them and food, they can go anywhere.
Those are frequent swimming miles.
Yeah.
They get 3 seats on the next plane ride back to their hometown if they complete that intergalactic exploration.
Now, if this was yesterday and they jump in, what do you think the reason is that? We saw it in celebration of a victory. Was that premature jumping jumping in, or were they doing it for something else?
No, it's not premature. They knew at this point you would never jump in because that would be bad karma,
so with
bad
one more day of
mojo,
tournament
and
left.
You also want to make sure that it's not a sharky area. If I were in the Bahamas right now and I won, he said, let's jump in. They said, not a chance. I will stay in the boat. I'll do an ice bucket challenge
I did the same thing in Islamorada one time where I needed a rope to help out another boat to pull it back to shore, and I was on a jet ski, a stand-up one, and I'm flopping around, and the guy goes, you might not want to stay in the water very long. I'm like, why? They were shark fishing. They were chumming, and I'm in the middle of it, but I needed to get a rope for my buddy.
Well, Robbie, you were in it to win it.
I made it.
You're a good man.
Yeah.
And you got to say these guys are pretty athletic to be able to climb in the back of the boat like that. Not a lot of people can do that. You know, when the boat's rocking like that, you just got to come up like a little seal. Kind of go there, and you got to clap your hands, flip your flippers together, and
We've got
do
some
a couple of weird
athleticism.
barks and get back in the boat.
We got some athleticism here on the Sport Fishing Championship. So we're seeing blue marlin there, upside down.
That's
I guess
their
they're
laundry.
signifying
You
it
gotta
was
hang your
a catch and release when you turn it upside down like that instead of it being right side up.
Correct, Robbie.
Polarizer. So I don't think everybody gets that memo, but you know we still see it. But we know they got a blue. Polarizer caught the first blue marlin of the tournament. I mean, midday on day number 1. We were questioning would it hold out, and it did. But that bonus points, you know, those extra 100 points are huge because if they catch one blue today, they will be in the lead.
That's right. That's New Jersey Yacht Sales in the house, and this was an exciting display of fishing, to say the least. Let's watch for a second here.
And George Robinson, the owner of that boat.
Okay, Robbie, here's where it starts to happen. The teaser's popping out. That's a squid chain. There's a blue marlin. You see that triangular dorsal coming at it. It's not round. It's not a white marlin. It is a blue marlin coming in hot, trying to get a little meat off the back of that bait that is on the end of that squid chain. And he's trying to pitch bait to it right now. Pull the teaser out, put it in the clean water, make the turn.
Point this out, though. You see the guy that was with the reel, right?
Yes.
He's out there bringing in the teaser. He's the one that's actually going to catch his fish. George is lined up on it. We think it's going to be him. He thinks it's going to be him at this point. It's not him.
Well, you know, that's the funny thing about marlin. They will go from side to side to side. I have tons of underwater video that we've taken. My friends on Fish Tank have given me. That really, you know, you need to bring that dredge in, because when you do hook this fish, that's inevitably going to need to come out of the water, because it's going to come alongside the boat and get ensnared and tangled in it, and then you've got a big problem. So always be doing something. Yes, I'm dropping back. I have my bait out. You got your bait out, and you use your feel. You use the feel pull. Right now the fish move to the left side.
You know what? You're a father. I know you're proud of your son. He does a lot of video work that you get to see. George has to be proud of his son for making that adjustment, reeling in, going to the other side, working this fish. This is a proud dad moment on Mother's Day weekend.
That's right. And at this moment, you can't see it, but he's cool, calm, and collected, and he's got the fish on right now. The rod tip's down low. He pitched the bait with a circle hook. That's what you want. You don't see him setting the hook with a circle hook. You see him rod tip down. I'm tight, and you hear that. And okay, now you've got your dredge still dangling in the water. You're going to pull that in. You're going to pull your squid chain down the rigger, bring it inside the boat. You don't want to get tangled on anything. You don't want to put anything to risk and have a chance of getting entangled, because that would be a big no-no, and you might lose a fish.
We didn't get to see this team fish last year on the Atlantic. We did see them at the catch. They did one of those swing for the fences kind of moves and made a big run and just didn't get into the fish. But now we're seeing their capability. They're a good team.
Yeah, you know, you got to love the calm, cool, and collected maneuvers in this cockpit. Everybody had a job. And when you see something next to you, you can always hit a button. There's nothing wrong with holding a rod in one hand with your thumb on the spool, in free spool, ready for the bite. There's nothing wrong with running over and hitting the electric button to bring it up 3 feet. That's what you do. Then you'll bring the halyard down with your other hand that you're not holding onto. But here you see the majestic jumps of this blue marlin coming out of the water in that perfect blue, purpley water. And that's where they love to be. And that's why they're catching fish in that area.
Team Polarizer, we're looking back at their day 1 fish. The first fish of the tournament, as far as blue marlin or billfish are concerned. We've only had blues of our billfish variety caught this week. Jumping around, still not a qualified catch as of yet.
House of Pain. House of Pain.
Jump around.
That's exactly what he's doing. Jump up, and get down. That's what he's doing, but he's got remoras on him. Those remoras are taking the ride of a lifetime. They bought the ticket on a one-way trip to the moon, and that's exactly what they're doing on this blue marlin. Normally, they're in the gills, they're on the underside, but these are riding the back of a blue marlin. They're having a blast. They're going to be like, man, you wouldn't believe what happened today. They're telling all their remora friends, Robbie.
And again, what are they saying when they're, whee?
Yeah. So this fish, again, it's not that big, but it's big enough. You know, and that's the kind of fish that you want in a tournament. And the mate's got the mate saver in his mouth just in case he takes a wrap on it and gets entangled. He can cut it free, you know, but this fish is very manageable.
Fun size. Got it in fairly quick. They're solid. That's a qualified catch. Now they're just trying to get their equipment back if they want it, or they can just pop it off. He said, I'll let go. That wasn't his best move, but right now he said, yeah, I'm cutting it next time.
Well, the captain bumped it in gear because the fish was kind of down there. So as the captain bumped it, you know, he knew that fish was going to pop off. And you know, we're getting video, we're doing live TV. So you definitely want those extra few jumps on the camera if you can get them.
Wrap there, bring it to the side. Now there's a tag, right?
Yep, spaghetti tag, little Billfish Foundation.
That fished his tag. We'll see where it shows up on the computer screen later on. Either way, that was a 350-point marlin, and then add the 100 bonus points on top of it.
Woo! Yeah, baby! Ready work. Let's go. Ready work. Ready work, boys. Nice job, guys. Good job, Cal. Let's go.
Greg, how was that?
Dude, that was so sick. You got this. He came up on the right teaser, scattered all the way to the left side. Once he faded off the left teaser, he went underneath the boat, turned right back around. I thought he was going this way, so I'm looking that way. My pitch bait's over here. He just came up, boom, piled on me. Lassoed him around the bill, came tight. All good.
Nice job, guys.
And that's our Ocean Blue Yacht Sales replay of the tournament polarizer with a nice catch and release and getting those max points, 450 for that single fish.
Both trying to drop back there, Robbie, doing what they do best. Right side, left side, right side, left side.
I'm just wondering why Greg was the one doing all that work back there with the teaser reels and then still having to do the pitch baits. I was like, come on, there's 4 people on that boat.
Rob, you'll see. Everybody does a little something while this is happening. Nobody just freezes up and stands there in the corner. You don't want to find yourself handcuffed in the corner not doing something. If I'm on a fish, I'm always clearing the deck. I'm moving something. I'll have the rod in my hand and free spool, thumb on the spool, ready for the bite. But I'll be lowering a rigger. I'll be bringing in a teaser. I'll be hitting the electric reel. Everybody has a job, and they should always be working on the boat. That shows exactly that with this young man.
That's your Ocean Blue Yacht Sales replay of the day, replay of the tournament for that matter. Again, there's still time to catch some fish out there today. We got a blue marlin on the board. We've got another, looks like mahi-mahi caught by CFAM, but that was about at 10:30. They've got about an hour and 20 minutes more to fish. And can somebody get into a flurry, Peter? It's coming down to the very, very end.
Somebody help me. We need another marlin. If not, guess what? We're going to have a 4-peat going here.
Again, 15 teams started this event. They have 2 days that they can fish. Everybody but 2 teams are out there on the water. At the top of the hour, we're going to be on CBS Sports Network, the Salt Life Bluewater Tournament. So again, 13 teams trying to knock off half a buck. They're not fishing today. They're one of our 2 teams on their lay day. They're watching it all go down. They are helpless, and there's 13 teams that are trying to beat them. Again, stick with us at the top of the hour on CBS Sports Network for the Salt Life Blue Water Tournament from St. Augustine, Florida.